Hello everyone. Now let's discuss the compiler design final term paper held in 2015, right? So here also we have three sections, section A, section B and section C, out of which section C is compulsory and in section A and B we have choice. Now let's discuss the paper. The first question is discussing about what is symbol table and you have to explain its significance and the various data structures in a symbol table. So basically, why we are using symbol table? Whenever something new is being introduced in your code, you are storing that information, the variable and its values in the symbol table, right? And its significance is uh, that there will not be any type of error when you are compiling the code, right? So it is very essential, so that at the runtime there is no issues. And briefly explain the various data structures. So there are different data structures we'll be using here. We'll be using array, we'll be using the concept of tree, hashing and all. So you have to simply explain all the procedures in brief because this is a 6 marks question. Next question is you have to construct a minimum deterministic finite automata which accepts set of all strings over input alphabets 0 1, which when interpreted as binary number is divisible by 4. So basically, whenever you are giving any number, that has to be first of all converted into binary number, and that binary input should be divisible by 4, right? You have to make the transition table for that DFA. After making the DFA, and you have to also mention one string which is accepted by that DFA and one string which is rejected. It's a very easy question. There is a technique involved in that concept. So you can design any type of finite automata that is divisible by 2, 3, 4, or 5. A very simple technique and a very easy question. Now coming to third question, you have to attempt both the questions here. First is you have to give the example of bottom-up parser used for the comparison with brief outlining. So basically you have to give an example of bottom up parser. Very easy parser. You have to take a string and you have to apply the different operations which are used in it, and you have to just reach to the starting symbol. Then conflicts of a shift reduce parser with example. So there are some conflicts also associated with this parser. You have to discuss that also. So 3 marks distribution. Very briefly and concisely you have to explain what is required. Now coming to fourth question, what are the types of parsing techniques? Differentiate with the help of suitable examples. So here, see, there is no need to, explain one particular technique in detail. Simply, you have to say that the parsing techniques are divided into top-down parsing and bottom-up parsing. You will briefly explain what is top-down parsing and bottom-up parsing, and then you will give the different examples of top-down parsing and bottom-up parsing, and you will briefly explain all those parsers, and you can compare their powers also, right? So now fifth question is you have to calculate the first and follow of the following grammar. This is a given CFG where you need to find out the first of S, T and X and also the follow of S, T and X. Again a very easy question. For first you can directly write the answer, but in follow you have to also mention the step, as this is a 6 marks question. So you need to in detail explain everything. If your first value is incorrect, then obviously your follow values will also be incorrect. So while attempting this question, be very careful, right? Now coming to sixth question. What is LL1 grammar? Test whether the following grammar is LL1 or not. Again, for first thing that you need to do is you have to identify whether this is LL. What is, first of all, you just need to explain what is LL1 grammar. And then what you need to do is for this particular grammar, you have to first identify whether there is left recursion or left factoring. If it is there, you have to remove it. And then you need to find out the first and follow of SAB. After using the first and follow, you will create a table where all the variables in the rows and all the terminals in the column side will be mapped, and accordingly with the help of the variable and terminal you will map the productions in the table, right? And if every cell of the table is having unique production, then it is LL1, and if there are duplicate entries, then it is not LL1. And LL1 grammar is a top down parsing technique, right? Now coming to so here, see, there are 6 questions, so it is your choice. You can attempt any 5, but try to do the best 5. Section B, here we have again 3 questions, out of which you have to do 2. This is a short note question. You have to simply explain these 3 terms, right? And here sometimes it is mentioned that you have to explain any 2, but here all the 3 are compulsory should to be mentioned, right? First is DAG, direct acyclic graph, then 3 address code and role of lexical analyzer. So in DAG you can simply explain what is a DAG and you can give one example, that is all which is required, and simply explain that example. In 3 address code, you know that there are different ways of or three address code. One is your quadruples, second is your triples, and third is indirect triples. So simply take a example and write three expressions for all these three uh, terms which are under three address code. And then role of lexical analyzer, you can simply explain this particular phase of the compiler. So basically here in all these three, you don't have to explain much about the theory, but you have to take a significant example and explain that example, right? So every question is of 3 3 and the last part is of 4th marks. Accordingly, you need to explain. Now coming to the 8th question, here it is asking what is syntax directed translation and its significance. First of all, this is a theoretical part, but again, this is only of 5 marks, including the types of the SJT, right? So this part is 5 marks. Now we have part 1 and 2. They are of 2.5 each. So you have to make the SJT for both the parts and you have to find out the answer. Then ninth question is, what are the various phases of compiler? Explain all the phases with using this input. Also, you are, in the end, you have to make the flowchart. So again, you can see that in almost all the papers of BTech and MTech, phases of compiler was always there. So you can understand the significance of this particular question, that it is the most important question for your final exam, right? So don't skip it and try to explain it in very detail and thoroughly, so that at least in this question you get maximum marks as you can. Like if it is a 10 question, try to get if it is a 10 marks question, try to get 10 out of 10, right? Now coming to section C here. Now in this section C, it is very very compulsory question. You have to attempt all the parts of this question, so be careful that you don't miss it. Okay, so in 10th question we have different parts. First part is what is optimization and need of optimization, and the various techniques which are used for optimization with the help of examples. Simply, what is optimization, that we all know as a computer science student, and the need also. And then you will discuss all the particular techniques with the help of examples. That's a very very easy question. Now the next part is, you this is the given DFA for which you have to apply the minimization algorithm or reduction algorithm, and you have to reduce the number of states. Here the number of states are 6. Try to reduce it if it is possible. And then for the reduced DFA, you have to make a transition table and you have to make the reduced DFA. Fine. So that was all about MTech paper 2015. Thank you so much.